Welcome to this explainer. When we think about the absolute most terrifying, unforgiving waterways on Earth, our minds almost always jump straight to the Amazon River, right? We've all seen those intense documentaries with the swirling, dark waters, piranhas, massive anacondas, the whole shebang. But what if I told you that our geographic assumptions are completely backwards? What if the Amazon is basically a kiddie pool compared to what we're looking at today? Let's dive right in, because the source material we're exploring reveals something wild. There are 7 rivers scattered across the globe that are, and get this, a staggering 100 times deadlier than the mighty Amazon.
Just look at this unbelievable contrast. On one side, we've got the Amazon River. It's world famous, it's massive, and sure, it undeniably has its dangers. But then, on the other side, we have these 7 deadly rivers highlighted in our source material. These are hidden, highly localized waters that most folks have never even heard of. Yet, according to the data, they pack a lethality that is literally 100 times greater than the Amazon. We're talking about aquatic environments so deeply hostile they just completely rewrite the rulebook on natural danger.
Section 1. Beyond the Amazon. Rethinking River Perils.
Section 2. The 7 Deadly Waters, a Global Threat.
So, what actually makes these rivers so deadly? Well, these aquatic nightmares all share a sort of lethal DNA. First off, they feature extreme, completely unmapped depths. They aren't just wide, they are pitch black, plunging into the earth in ways we haven't even been able to measure yet. Combine that with deceptive, treacherous currents that can literally pull you under in an absolute heartbeat. And the scariest part? These ecosystems are perfectly designed to support horrifying predatory wildlife. This specific cocktail of extreme depth, crazy currents, and apex predators is exactly why they earn that 100 times more dangerous title.
Section 3. Monsters of the Kali River, the Borderline Nightmare.
Now this brings us to a really specific, terrifying location. What exactly lurks in the Kali River? The source text sets this incredibly tense scene of a dark, fast-moving river right on the border dividing India and Nepal. For years, local legends and chilling reports have been swirling about something massive lurking beneath the surface. Something patrolling those deep, muddy waters, just waiting for any sign of weakness. We really have to ask ourselves, what specific danger could possibly justify the intense, visceral fear surrounding this one border river?
All right, the crucial point here is this. We are not talking about rogue crocodiles or lost sharks. We are talking about catfish. But hold on, you need to completely erase that image of the little bottom feeders you'd see in your local pond. The source text explicitly warns of giant, mutant-sized catfish operating as deadly hunters in these waters. In the extreme depths of the Kali River, these aquatic behemoths have grown to unnatural, genuinely terrifying proportions. They've essentially transformed into apex predators, and the source cites them as the primary lethal threat to absolutely anything that enters the water.
In fact, the source text uses a very specific phrase, translated directly as predatory fish. Now this is a massive focal point. It's a stark, direct warning that fundamentally flips how we view these creatures. It highlights the truly aggressive, predatory nature of the wildlife hiding just below the surface. These giant catfish, they aren't just passive scavengers lazily waiting for scraps. No, they are active, highly evolved hunters. They've adapted perfectly to those treacherous border currents and use those murky, unmapped depths to their absolute tactical advantage.
Section 4. By the numbers. Measuring the threat.
This vividly visualizes the core hook of our source material. See that tiny little bar way down at the bottom? That is the Amazon River's lethality baseline. Yeah, the Amazon. Now look at the towering bar rocketing all the way up. That is the combined peril of these 7 rivers. They completely dwarf the Amazon by a factor of 100. When you actually see it mapped out visually like this, it really puts the sheer magnitude of the threat into perspective. We are not talking about a slight bump in risk here. We are looking at an entirely different, vastly superior league of natural hazard.
Let's look at some specific data points from the source, starting with 18. In our source material, this number stands out as a stark marker, representing the extreme upper limits of the danger we're talking about here. It essentially represents the peak conditions and the sheer, overwhelming volume of lethal hazards concentrated within these terrifying waterways.
Then we have 11. This is another chilling data point cited directly alongside those unmapped depths. You can think of these numbers kind of like the coordinates of a nightmare. Each one represents a totally different vector of lethality. Whether it's the sheer, sudden drop-off of the riverbed or the deadly speed of those deceptive currents pulling you down right beneath the calm surface.
Next up is 10.
This is a metric that hints at the massive scale of the monstrous life that the Kali River and its 6 deadly siblings somehow managed to sustain. When you've got giant catfish actively hunting in the pitch-black deep, this number points directly to the unbelievable proportions these creatures can reach or the startling frequency of encountering these threats.
And finally, 8 caps off this rapid-fire sequence of terrifying metrics. Put together, all these data points construct a statistical profile of environments that are just fundamentally hostile to human life. They're a harsh reminder that this danger isn't just a myth, it's not just a spooky local story, it's measurable, it's thoroughly documented in the source, and it is incredibly severe.
Section 5. The ultimate takeaway. Respect the deep.
The true monsters hide exactly where we aren't looking. Honestly, the absolute biggest takeaway from this entire explainer and why this actually matters for how we understand the world is that true peril doesn't always live in the famous, heavily broadcasted rivers we see on TV. Instead, the ultimate danger lives in these localized, totally overlooked hotspots. It's right there in the murky border waters between India and Nepal. It's in extreme depths that haven't even been fully mapped yet, housing predatory fish that have literally grown into legends. It is a really powerful reminder to always respect the unknown, untamed power of nature.
Which naturally leaves us to a pretty provocative question I want to leave you with today. Think about it. If these 7 rivers are truly 100 times deadlier than the Amazon, and they've largely flown completely under our radar, well, what else is lurking in the unexplored depths of our planet? What other monstrous realities are just hiding in the geographic shadows, waiting to be uncovered by the data? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep your eyes open, and always question what you think you know about the natural world.